talking about lateral movement. And fellas, understand something. I taught this same stuff too. You know, the idea that when you draw, you take a lateral step like this, and the idea is that you're going to get out of his line of fire. You know, you're going to sidestep his bullet. But you know, what if he comes up here and does something like this, and you step into it? There was a research study where they had a bunch of people. They were doing it, and they came up with, like, you know, 80-some% of the time, if you make a step to the right, you'll. But you know, what if you're not that 87%? Right. So the idea that you're just going to do something without critical thought doesn't make sense to me.
Well, in the time you have, you're supposed to analyze if he's left-handed or right-handed shooter, and then move toward the opposite side.
You know, I come up like this, and Kevin takes a step to his right, and I slam the grip on my gun, and I end up shooting him over here.
I know. My point is, he's supposed to go left because you're a right-handed shooter.
Exactly. You know, so I mean, come on, let's think about that stuff for a minute. So, you know, the idea of just a lateral step, we already talked about the angle involved in that. You know, I don't. Will it hurt anything? I don't know if it'll hurt anything. I don't know if it'll help. You know, you're trying to draw your gun and get a good shot on a guy. So, if we're going to do lateral movement, which I appreciate, let's do it in such a way that it's truly going to reorient him. Okay? So Kevin and I are here like this. Kevin, I'm not going to draw on you, so don't worry about that. I'm just going to simulate. If I'm standing here like this, and he looks like he's going for his gun, I go over here like that. What have I done? Okay? But what if I do something like this? Now he's having to turn like this. It's more than just, you know, a couple of inches for him. I'm actually having to make him orient. And as you can see, it wasn't a lot of steps. It was really only 2 steps. But the technique behind it is that it's just like a sprinter in the starting blocks. You're going to launch off the most advantageous foot. As you realize, if you've ever ran track or maybe did it in gym class, you're in the starting blocks, you're launching off that forward foot because it's the most bent. Well, in this case, I can't pull in that direction, but I can push off in that direction. You see what I'm saying? So if I was going to make that move to my right, I would launch off his left foot, just like this. Now, as you can see, now I've made some lateral movement that makes sense. And instead of him just coming up, now he's having to do something like this. But keep in mind that while I'm doing that, I need to be preparing for a shot, because when I stop, he's going to catch up to me. I'm not going to create a lot of lag time. I need to be shooting him. At this distance right here, I'd be shooting him in the face. Because, I mean, let's face it, let's look at him.
Through my hand.
Yeah, the high chest area, the head, they're about the same size. So I'm just going to be shooting him in the face. Even if they don't penetrate. I mean, come on, you know, they're going to notice it. But you got to place your shots. You've got to place them. So, to me, it would be as if I'm at 6 o'clock, Kevin's at 12 o'clock, I'd be moving to what, like 2 and 10, right? Off to the side like this. Instead of him going this way, he's going to have to literally turn his body. You follow me? Yes, sir.
If you were that close, would you do anything to divert? I mean, would you do anything to get, I mean, if you were that close and he was coming out with a gun, would you?
It's situationally dependent. If I was this close to Kevin, I probably wouldn't even try to move. I would just attack him. You know, I can't say. You know, I'm standing here like this, and I see him coming up with a gun. Sure, boom, and I may just move off the side. But it's all about situation. Remember what I told you guys? That one of the first things I told you yesterday. The person that will prevail in armed conflict is the one that can adapt their skills to the situation they face. That's what the whole class is about. I can't give it to you because, you know, you have to have that mindset to do this. There's no dithering. The idea that I'm going to stand here and while he's drawing a gun, I'm going to observe, orient, decide, and act, there's too much time. If I got to orient to what he's doing, I'll never catch up. You know, I see him draw a gun, it's see and do. Okay? I've got to stop him from doing that. So, you know, you can't dither.
I'll tell you what.
You got to do something.
That would have been, that's really effective, because you just put your hand on my nose and it tingled it, and I'm like, holy shit.
You've all been popping the
And he
nose.
backed off. What if he'd have kept pushing?
Yeah.
No, all it was just a hammer. Well, I didn't actually hammer fist him because I didn't want to break his nose, but you know, that's all it was. I queered his jaw and struck him someplace affecting his ability to see and or breathe. It's as simple as that. But you know, here I can go in, but if I take just a step back, that's not the case anymore. Now it's going to be more about getting around him at that angle. Double arm's length right here. Those of you who were in the class last year, we talked about being in the hole. In this double arm's length, I would attack him. Outside the double arm's length, I would probably try to reorient. Try to get him to change what he's doing to me. Does that make sense to you? Okay. Situationally dependent, but if we're going to move in this direction. It makes more sense. Okay. What if, you know, I'm kind of offset like this from him? You know, he's kind of looking at me. Well, in this case, doing that wouldn't make as much sense as moving around him in a circular pattern, kind of a half circle. So it just depends. There's no real way to say. But what we're going to do now, and it's going to slow the class down a little bit because we're going to have to do 2 shooters at a time, is we're going to have you do some of that kind of offset movement. Not just moving sideways, but actually moving at an angle. Drawing your pistol from concealment and all those other things that you have to do to save your own life.
You know, you're going to my right.
Right.
You can see where, when you jumped over here, I thought this is easy. You just, like that, right? Coming over here, now I got to reorient all my stuff, and I got to back it up like that. And it's going to take more time going this way for me than for you to jump.
Well, sure,
over here.
because if you just, how the body works, if I've got the gun in my right hand, doing this is easy.
Yeah.
Doing that requires a body change.
Everything, yeah.
So, but you know, and that kind of stuff you can't say. If he's got a gun in a holster, which is unlikely. We carry holsters. They just show. But it's all going to depend. And a lot of it, guys, the key to this is your level of awareness and your willingness. You know, I call it the Ness brothers. Awareness plus willingness. You know, first of all, are you aware enough that you can see where he's got his hand, what he's doing? Have you made that previous decision that you're going to take action? Because if he's got a gun out or he's bringing a gun out, you better be willing to engage him in combat. If you're sitting here thinking, well, maybe he's not meaning me, maybe he's going to shoot. Oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this. You're dead. You're dead.
We're talking
a
fraction of a second is the difference in life.
There's no orientation. This guy's going to kill you. You see and you do. That's what that mindset is, a previous decision. So that's what we're going to be doing now. But we're going to do it live fire. We had to, you know, make sure we kept the rounds into the backstop. So we're going to do, you know, 2 people at a time, 2 shooters at a time. We're going to kind of let you work it a little bit and do that. But this to me is the kind of motion, the kind of movement that will actually solve a problem for you. Not just this kind of stuff